Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I've talked a bit about homophobia, and unfortunately, I've had homophobia everywhere. Pretty much each school I was in, there was someone that had a problem with me being gay. And even the last school, which was the most recent one, I'll mention the name because they didn't do anything wrong, RMIT. I was working at the design, I was going to say facility, campus, in Brunswick, and there was one student who, I won't go into his religion, but he had some religious issues with me because his religion teaches him that being gay is wrong, so therefore he can vilify me and say whatever he wants and justify it with his religion. So he was always rude and that, but then it actually got to a point where we were talking on the message boards between each other to help each other with our work, and he was making homophobic comments, and I called him out on it, and other people called him out on it. It actually started off with one of the girls saying, "That's so gay," and I said, "Yeah, no." When I was schooling her about that, he got into me, and then it got really nasty. And everyone saw it, and because it was RMIT, it got shared around all the other RMIT boards and campuses, and everyone was talking about it, and they just shut it down. They just shut the board down because of the homophobia and discrimination that was happening. And it got some attention, and I was in the centre of that too. But I didn't do anything wrong. I was just talking to a student. She made a comment. I said, "Yeah, no, you shouldn't say that for this reason." And then someone else who was homophobic and really offended by a homosexual person defending themselves against even the most subtle homophobia, had to say something and had to make a point and make a bit of a power play and make his point known and his position known and basically be a homophobic alpha male basically and beat his chest and all that rubbish. So they shut the message boards down and the mailboxes, everything down for a bit, and then they had to put up new policies and put it all up again. And I just thought it was ridiculous, and it was very awkward. This was late in the year, fortunately, but I had to keep going back into that room knowing that guy was totally homophobic, hated me, and also had religious convictions behind it, which just makes it even harder because you can't talk to someone about something like that because they just point at the book and say, "No, the book says so, the book says so." And it doesn't matter what you say or do or what you've experienced or what they've experienced, they've got the book telling them. So that's where I was at with that. But so it wasn't a big issue, but it did get the attention of the faculties and so forth because it was like flagged and sent to people, like, people are saying this, people are dropping the F-bomb, and this one gay student is being attacked by several, students, and they're of a certain religion, and they're using that, and it's a whole big so they shut it all down, and then basically redrafted their rules and put it back up again. I doubt anything changed, but I didn't really use it, and it didn't happen again. But I sort of was disengaged from the class because at that point I'd felt fairly comfortable in the class. I didn't know anyone had any issues. And this guy, he was a bit of but I never thought he was hateful. I never realised that he had an issue with me. I just thought he was a bit of a dude bro, as much as you can be a dude bro when you're steeped in that religion. But he basically was just a dude bro, and the other guys, they all got along, and I didn't really talk to them because I was busy doing my work, and we weren't really, we didn't really mesh. But I didn't realise he hated me, and I didn't realise he had an issue with me. I didn't realise he'd be confident enough to say it in a public forum, in writing, in front of everyone, and basically try to argue his point that he was right, and just, it was just, it was a moment. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. It'd be nice if I had at least one institution I went to where I didn't have some sort of homophobia or some sort of discrimination, but I had discrimination in primary school, discrimination in high school, discrimination in college, discrimination my first uni course, although that wasn't necessarily actually homophobic. That was just, although if the teacher was gay, then it might have been actually. I had never really worked that one out. And then the next one, La Trobe Uni, I didn't actually have any real instances, just a few little comments here and there, but for the most part, yeah, I actually had one institution I didn't have any homophobia at. Now I think about it, I can't think of anything that happened at La Trobe Uni. Every other one there was something, and usually within the management, like not just a student, or if a student did do something, they didn't do anything about it and just validated it or made it worse. So yes, so yeah, I can say one institution, one educational institution that I went to wasn't homophobic.